Hello everybody, it's Non-C News here, and today we've got a lot of break updates today. So the first news is coming from the Promosky region in Russia's far east. So if you can see here in bottom left corner, I am outlining the Promosky region where the Lauros military is undergoing military drills, military exercises with the Russian military. So we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. We talked about how the Laos and the Russian army are now conducting military operations. So we can see here in bottom left corner, we've gotten a huge update, and we've gotten the exercises what are being done. So we can see here in bottom left corner, the Russian and the Laos militaries are stating that Russia is teaching the Laos People's Army to learn modern methods of warfare. So it seems that Russia is teaching Laos modern warfare, which it's learned in Ukraine, to try and pass on the information on to Laos, it seems. So we've got an update on that, so very interesting. Now let's head to Russia, where we've got news that the head of Palestine, Mahmoud Abbas, will participate in the BRICS summit in Kazan, which will be undergoing on October. We've also got news that the Taliban, the head of Afghanistan, which took in charge, I believe, in 2023 or 2022, has submitted an application to participate in the BRICS meeting that will be held in Kazan. So Afghanistan, the Taliban is now asking Russia to participate in the Kazan meeting. Now we've actually got some pretty weird news that we've actually gotten on the front lines. So the head of the Russia's Chechen Republic, Ramzan, claims to have sent 2 more Cybertrucks equipped with machine guns to the war in Ukraine. So if we can see here in bottom left corner, we can see these Cybertrucks are now actually fighting on side of the Russian army. So if we can see here in bottom left corner, we can see these Cybertrucks doing their military operations. So the head of the Chechen Republic has sent these. We've got some videos, we've got some pictures of these, but apparently now they are conducting military operations in Ukraine. Now we've got news coming from Kiev. We talked about how the president of the European Commission, von der Leyen, has arrived in Kiev for meetings with President Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. So within this meeting, we've got news that the EU pledges new Kiev loans up to 35 billion euros, von der Leyen has stated. The European Union will raise a 35 billion euro loan to support the Ukrainian economy and military. So, announced of the president of the EU, and this will be strengthening ties with Ukraine and the EU. Von der Leyen has also praised Ukraine's progress towards the EU accession. The European Commission President expressed her administration for Ukraine's swift progress in the EU's accession process during a joint press conference with President Volodymyr Zelensky. So, she's trying to fast track. The EU is trying to fast track Ukraine's membership in the EU, and we'll get more information about that later. We've also got news coming from Australia and Ukraine. Ukraine may receive decommissioned Abrams tanks worth $550 million from Australia. In July, Australia decommissioned 59 M1A1 Abrams tanks, which had never been used in combat, to replace them with newer models. Currently, Australia's Ministry of Defence is examining how the deliveries can take place in accordance with the US defence exports regulations, as these tanks are American made. So we've got news that Ukraine just might receive at least 59 decommissioned M1A1 Australian tanks. So I will keep you up to date on these news, and we'll see what else comes from here. We've also got news coming from the Defense Minister Ruslan Umerov of Ukraine. Ukraine has received the first 40 million euros from Denmark to directly finance its defense production, according to Ukrainian Defense Minister Ruslan Umerov. So you can see here in the bottom left corner, he tweeted on X. We've also got news that Zelensky is commenting on the existence of a plan B in case of Biden refuses his support for his so-called victory plan, which Zelensky has been going on. We've been talking about this past couple of videos. We talked about how Zelensky has a victory plan, which he will be presenting to the West and America very soon with his visit to Joe Biden. So apparently we've got news that he's got on a plan B if this victory plan does not get accepted from like Joe Biden. And the big news today is that the US and the UK have not authorized Ukraine to use long-range missiles on Russian territory, possibly fearing escalation, Zelensky has stated himself. So it's official, the US and the United Kingdom will not be allowing long-range missiles on the Russian territory, according to Zelensky. And we've also gotten some sideline news. So we've gotten some videos that were published by some recent satellites, the most recent satellites. It actually shows the devastation caused by the war in Ukraine. So if you can see here in your bottom left corner, we can see this huge line of just devastation that's been going on since 2022. And I've actually updated the map, what you're seeing here now. So the clear difference is that we can clearly see this river has completely dried up. So if you can see here in bottom, if you can see here on your screen, we can completely see how this whole river has completely dried up. And if we actually zoom in, this is actually how it was like before the war has started. So we can clearly see there was plenty of rivers, plenty of water, and this is how the river looks now. So huge changes when talking about Ukraine. We've also gotten some updates from Snake Island. So we talked about this, well, this was a big discussion in the first part of the war in Ukraine. We talked about how there was a big conflict going on, who controls Snake Island or not. So we've got some videos here in your bottom left corner. We can see the Ukrainians performed like a landing on Snake Island and showed us the devastation that's happened and how there's nothing on it, but it still shows the Ukrainian flag. So technically it still is under Ukrainian control, this Snake Island, but very interesting to see. So all these buildings, if you can see here the old satellite images, all these buildings now are completely destroyed, as we saw on the video. Now let's head to more news where we've gotten from Croatia. Croatia has registered over 1,430 smugglers arrests since the beginning of the year. This is up 40% from 2022. At the same time, the number of irregular migrants detained has fallen by 60% to just under 22,000. The authorities of Croatia say that among those arrested, 80% are foreigners, mostly from Bosnia, Herzegovina, Romania, Ukraine, Serbia, but the drop in the number of migrants detained is due to an increased use of smuggler networks. So we've got news that smuggler arrests are actually increasing in Croatia. We've also got news coming from Italy that the Italian foreign minister supports peace conference with Russia and China and actually rejects Russian demands for Ukraine's surrender. So the Italian foreign minister has expressed support for a peace conference involving Russia and China, as suggested by President Zelensky. However, the Italian foreign minister stressed that Russia should not attend the conference with demands for Ukraine's surrender or defeat, as the world undermine any true peace agreement. So, very interesting news. I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news coming from France. The big news coming from France is that France has just completed the training of the first group of Ukrainian pilots on the Alpha jet since March 2024. The French Air Force has been training Ukrainian pilots to meet an operational need for Ukraine's Defense Ministry. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see these jets. These are the jets that the French are talking about. It's called the Alpha jet. So these jets are like kind of the Alpha jet is a light attack jet and advanced jet trainer co-manufactured by Dassault Aviation of France. So apparently we've got news that Ukrainian parts are done on these aircraft. So these will probably be going back to Ukraine. Who knows where these parts are going to be flying, or what planes they're going to be flying. Maybe they're going to be given the Alpha jet to fly over Ukraine, but who knows? But what we do know is that the French President Macron had a call with the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, and actually the French President accused Israel of pushing the region into war. Netanyahu responded to Macron by saying that instead of putting pressure on Israel, it's time for France to increase the pressure on Hezbollah. So, while on the topics of the Middle East, let's just get into it. So, we've got news that the UK is preparing to evacuate its citizens from Lebanon by air if tensions between Israel and Hezbollah continue to escalate into a full-scale war. We've also got news that the Chinese representatives, the Japanese representatives, and the Iranian representatives all condemn Israel's cyber attack, which Israel still denies. What happened on the pagers attack and the radios attack. So Japan, China, and Iran have all condemned Israel on its attack. We've also got news coming from the Iranian Foreign Ministry. The Iranian Foreign Ministry stated that we call on international community to take a decisive decision to stop the Israeli war machine against the Palestinian people and Lebanon and Syria. And we've also got news in the previous 24 hours that Israeli media has stated that the entire senior command of Hezbollah's Radwan force was eliminated in the strike. So Israel has been conducting huge strikes on Hezbollah in the previous 24 hours, and now Israel media is now saying that it has eliminated the entire senior command of Hezbollah's Radwan forces, and around 20 commanders have been killed. We've got some footage of these Israeli attacks here. If you can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see these Israeli aviation attacks. So there's been huge strikes each side. Hezbollah is now striking Israel. Israel was especially striking Hezbollah. And we've gotten these footages, if you can see here in the bottom left corner, just the amount of strike and devastation that's happening here. But the news is that even though war seems to be on the horizon on the front, the people of Israel are protesting now in this exact city here. So if we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see quite a bit of people who are protesting. These demonstrators are demanding the resignation of the Netanyahu government and the end to the war in the Gaza Strip and a prisoner exchange deal. The protesters have blocked traffic on several highways and set fire in the middle of the streets, media reported. So, very interesting news, and I'll keep you updated on that. Now let's head to Iran, where we've got news that Iran is holding huge military parades across the country. So these parades are celebrating the 1980 to 1988 Iran-Iraq war. So in this military parade, Iran presents its new ballistic missile. Iran has introduced the Jihad ballistic missile, broadcasting a powerful warhead and a range of 1,000 kilometers, as well as a new Shahad 136B UAV. So if we can just see here in the bottom left corner, we can first just see this huge new Jihad ballistic missile that Iran has presented, and the new Shahed 136B UAV. So huge news when talking about Iran. Let's go into China. The Chinese army has stunned the internet with a record-breaking speed at building a bridge across a river in under 30 minutes. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see the military pontoon. I'm pretty sure it's called pontoon bridge. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see apparently the Chinese forces were able to successfully build this pontoon bridge in 30 minutes. And we can see the results of this. We've also got news that a Chinese aircraft carrier temporarily entered Japan's water. So in the early hours on Wednesday, an aircraft carrier, Laotian, sailed between the Joshguni islands, so the Japanese islands, and apparently entered Japanese water. This is reportedly the first time that a Chinese naval aircraft carrier has sailed through Japan's waters between Japan and Taiwan. So, very interesting news, and I'll keep you updated on that. We've also gotten a bit more news come from China, that China has just launched 4 new satellites into space. So if we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see this rocket go into space, delivering 4 satellites. So it doesn't actually state if these are military satellites, but just satellites. So I'll keep you updated on that. We've also got news that almost 30,000 Japanese residents evacuated due to the heaviest rainfall since 1975. So, if we can see here in the bottom left corner, we've got news that huge parts of Japan fell under a huge rainfall. So, if we can see here in the bottom left corner, we can see the amount of damage this has inflicted. We've also got news that the US builds up naval troops presence near Alaska because of Russian activity. According to Politico, the Pentagon has sent a destroyer and an army unit with missile launchers to Alaska, the Alaskan region, due to Russian activity and the buildup of Russian troops in the Alaskan and the Russian Far East border. We've also got news that the American company Swift Ships has presented its latest development. So the Swift Sea Stalker S3 naval drone, which the Pentagon plans to purchase. So this is the new Sea Stalker S3. So apparently it is equipped with 4 AGM-179 guided missiles capable of destroying moving and stationary targets at a distance of up to 8 kilometers. So this is apparently going to be introduced in the American Navy or the American Army. So, and the Pentagon has shown a huge interest in buying this weapon. And the last news come today is coming from the Titanic shipwreck. So if you guys remember, on September the 17th, 2024, we all got news that a Titan ship, the Titan submarine ship that tried to visit the Titanic shipwreck, imploded. So we can see here in the bottom left corner, we've just gotten the video of the results of the implosion, and footage has just been released, and they have found the tail of the Titan submarine vessel. So very interesting news, and I'll keep you updated if any more news of that arises. So that's all the news I actually have for you today. I am Non-Scene News. I'll try and provide you news that medias around the world do not show you. I do these videos hopefully daily, so consider subscribing and liking. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you all later. Bye.